welcome to my review of this beautiful 26-year-old GS. This bike is 1 year younger than me. I am 27 years old. During these years, I have ridden everything from sport bikes to Harleys, but I had never swung my leg around something that could go off-road. I have ridden almost all of the great European mountain passes, from the Stelvio Pass in Italy to the Pyrenees in Spain. I felt that I was ready for something new, something that made me feel like a child again. I wanted to have the feeling of not knowing what was going to happen. And that was when I came across the Trans-Euro trails. That was when my search for this bike started. I'll tell you all about it in a bit, but first, let me explain how I got to this choice. Like I said, I was looking for a new adventure. I saw the videos of the Teti, and before I knew it, the algorithm had sucked me down the adventure rabbit hole. I came across some footage of the Long Way Round documentary made in the early 2000s by Charlie Boorman and Ewan McGregor, and I was hooked. I knew what my next adventure would be. An adventure bike. At this point, I was already riding a BMW. I knew about the GS, and I already knew the feeling of the big boxer engines. Being completely new to any kind of off-roading and not wanting to invest too much money in something I'd probably drop several times, I came to the conclusion that I did not want to break the bank for my first adventure bike. So the bike had to be cheap, and it had to be bulletproof. I had to be able to go off-road with it, but I also needed to be able to do long distances. I love spending hours in the saddle, and I try to go on European trips more than once a year. So the option of a good, easy-to-use luggage system was important for me as well. Given my prior experience with boxer engines and having watched Long Way Round, of course, the 1150 GSA came to my mind. I found a really nice example, did a test ride, and it felt absolutely amazing riding on the streets. The only thing that really held me back was the seat height. I'm not the tallest, and I did feel like I needed to be able to reach the ground with at least one leg. Even with the lowest seat position, I did not feel comfortable with the idea of holding this weight without any off-road experience. So, unfortunately, it wasn't a match made in heaven. I honestly felt a little bad about this, but then I came across this 1100 GS. It ticked all the boxes. It had spoked wheels, a big one in the front and a smaller one in the back. It was in amazing condition, and I got a great deal on the cases. It's a 98 model, which I was told has the more bulletproof gearbox. The seat height is 84 centimeters, which somehow fits me perfectly. It weighs in at around 225 kilos, which you don't feel at all even when you drop the bike to the ground and have to pick it up. The weight, combined with the 80 horsepower and almost 100 newton meters of torque, means that it is not a fast girl at all. However, riding on the streets, you don't really miss anything. It has more than enough to get you going, and the torque down low makes it a great handling bike on tight hairpins. The 5-speed gearbox is set up pretty well for some great cornering, and even on the highway at 130, you don't miss a 6th gear. The bike is shaft-driven, which helps me in my ambitions of long-distance traveling. I think the fuel capacity is 24 liters, which gives me more than enough range. Thus far, the specs of the bike, which you probably already knew. But the question that needs to be answered is this: does it fulfill my dreams of adventure? Does it make me feel like a kid? Is riding a bike a little bit scary? Long story short, yes. At this point, I have only ridden some sand roads, muddy roads, very wet dirt roads, and light gravel roads in Luxembourg, Belgium, and the Netherlands, and the only thing I can say is that it absolutely is as great of a feeling as I hoped it would be. I decided to go to Luxembourg the weekend after I bought the bike, and when I got home to my girlfriend, all I had to say was, "What an experience." Being able to go off-road after having ridden for 2 hours straight on the highway without any signs of fatigue is just a surreal feeling. Knowing that you're able to bring all the camping gear necessary to spend time in nature with your bike is something that really brings me peace of mind. Apart from the off-road, it also handles amazing on-road. I'm able to keep up with big, fancy bikes in the twists without any effort. I would love to do the Stelvio or any other Italian pass with the countless hairpins soon. Of course, when you go crazy with straight-line top-speed runs and high-speed corners, you'll lose to anyone with a big bike and big balls. But that's not the point of riding bikes for me anymore. I used to ride sport bikes. And those bikes are only fun dragging your knee to the ground with 140 while still wishing you had more power. This machine, however, really brought back the pure joy of riding itself, providing you with everything you need to really conquer the world. So, is there anything I don't like? For starters, you do feel that the bike is 26 years old if you come from a newer bike, especially during braking and while shifting. Braking works just fine. You just feel like it's more mechanical and have to use some more force to stop. In the beginning, I had some more problems with shifting and false neutrals, but after you get used to it, it's all good. Another thing I noticed during off-roading was that the rubber pegs were very slippery, so I removed those and started wearing shoes with more grip. It had a huge windscreen, which helps block wind very effectively, but together with my short length, I could not see anything with it. On top of that, I broke it when I dropped my bike, so I'll be getting a new, shorter one soon. I'm looking at installing some proper crash bars too. At this point, I only have an engine guard, which does its job pretty well. In the end, and these are minor things, which are solved easily. I hope you enjoyed my review of this timeless bike. I'll be making some more videos about my off-road and on-road adventures soon. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss any of my adventures, and let me know your thoughts about this bike in the comments.